Alright, so this is section 2 stuff, and I apologize. I don't know why, but for some reason I completely forgot to do and submit these videos yesterday. So we're going to go over section 2, IDs and SQs, as well as section 3 to make up, and so that I don't have to do 7 different videos today. So section 2 and 3 IDs. Alright, question 7 says, how did the Truman Doctrine and the Marshall Plan address the spread of communism? So both of these plans were to provide money and supplies to help countries in Europe rebuild. Money and supplies. Number 8, what triggered the Berlin airlift? This is the Soviet blockade of Berlin. The Soviets completely blockaded, is that a word? I don't know. Closed in the city. Number 9, what originally led to the formation of 2 Koreas? We see communist North, well, if you back up from the very beginning. China falls to communism. We do see that influence spread into Korea, and Korea wants to become just one country instead of North Korea and South Korea. So North Korea invades South Korea with the hopes that they would all become one country under a communist government. And then we decide to step in because we are fighting communism. All right, question 10. How did President Truman view the communist invasion of South Korea? We saw it as a war on democracy. That's kind of how we took it. All right, so you've got only a couple of IDs for section 2. George Kennan is the ambassador representative in Moscow. Containment is talking about fighting communism. NATO, just write it out. It's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And SEATO is the Southeastern Atlantic Treaty Organization. All right, section 3 questions. Question 15 says, what was the purpose of the Loyalty Review Boards and the House of Un-American Activities Committee? And that was trying to find communist spies. Trying to find communist spies. Okay. 16, who was Joseph McCarthy, U.S. Senator? And the second question is, what led to his downfall? And he was accusing people with little to no evidence, and that got him in trouble real fast. 17 said, what event made Americans fearful of a nuclear attack by the Soviets? And that was when we found out they'd created their own atomic bomb. So, Americans found out the Soviets had their own atomic bomb. All right, question 18. 18 says, how did the Red Scare and McCarthyism change American society and government? We created the National Security Council. We created the House of Un-American Activities Committee. We created the CIA. People are going to start building bunkers and bomb shelters in their backyard. Kids are practicing the duck and cover in schools. These are just a few examples. People feel like they're losing their civil rights because they feel like they can't say anything or they'll get accused of being communist, right? Just a few examples of how things have changed. And then you've got Alger Hiss as the Secretary of State, and then the McCarran Act that you have to define for your IDs. Okay, so that's all for IDs, and that is section 2 and 3.